Long ago, in a valley where the river sang only at night, there lived a woman named Mara. Her hair was the color of ripe chestnuts, her eyes sharp as a weaver's needle. She had married Tomas, a wood-carver whose hands were gentle with cedar but heavy with silence. Tomas worked from dawn until the owls called. He carved bowls, spoons, saints for the church, and little horses for children who had none. Every piece he sold bought flour, wool, and the occasional ribbon for Mara's hair, yet Mara's heart was a cold hearth. No fire lived in it. She would watch Tomas leave at first light, and feel the house grow empty not of him, but of something she could never name. One autumn a stranger came to the valley. They called him Luca the Shadow Weaver. He carried no loom, only a satchel of black thread that seemed to drink light. He wove shawls so fine they felt like midnight mist, and when a woman wore one, men forgot their wives, and children followed her shadow instead of their own mothers. Maraboth, the darkest shawl, when she draped it over her shoulders, the valley itself seemed to lean closer. Luca smiled not kindly, but knowingly, and whispered, "Some hungers cannot be fed with bread or carved wood, some hungers need shadows." From that night Mara began to disappear after dusk. She told Tomas she was visiting her cousin in the next hamlet, or gathering herbs by moonlight. Tomas, trusting as old oak, never questioned her, but the village dogs began to howl differently when Mara passed. Luca waited in the abandoned mill where the wheel had long ago rotted. There, under leaking stars, Mara gave him what she had withheld from her husband: laughter, touch, secrets. Luca drank them like wine, and each time he gave her another thread thinner, darker, until her heart was stitched almost entirely with his shadows. One winter evening Tomas returned early. His hands were empty. The market had been poor. The house was cold. No fire. No Mara. Only her shawl lying across the chair like spilled ink. He lifted it. Beneath the weave he felt something strange, a heartbeat that was not his own, quick and guilty. When he held the shawl to the candle, faint words appeared in the threads. "I belong to Luca now. The hearth is yours alone." Tomas sat in the dark a long time. Then he rose, took his sharpest carving knife, and began to work not on wood, but on patience. The next night Mara returned, cheeks flushed, eyes bright with stolen fire. Tomas greeted her kindly. He had built up the hearth, boiled water for tea, even placed a carved wooden rose beside her plate. "I missed you," he said simply. Mara smiled, but the smile was thin. She felt the threads in her chest tighten. Tomas continued, "I have been thinking. A woman should not walk alone at night. Tomorrow I will walk with you to your cousin's house. We will go together." Mara's pulse jumped. "No need," she said quickly. "The path is safe." "But I insist," Tomas answered, calm as a frozen lake. A husband should know his wife's road. That night Mara did not sleep. She crept to the mill at moonset, warning Luca. "He suspects. We must leave before dawn." Luca laughed softly. "Let him follow. Shadows are faster than boots." But Mara felt fear for the first time, not of Tomas, but of the threads that now bound her more than they bound him. Dawn came gray and bitter. Mara and Luca slipped from the mill, wrapped in one great black shawl. They moved toward the high pass where the road vanished into mist. Behind them, Tomas followed. He did not shout. He did not run. He simply walked, carrying only his oldest carving knife and the wooden rose he had made for her. When they reached the narrow bridge over the gorge, Mara turned. Tomas stood at the far end, quiet, waiting. "Go back, husband," she called. "This path is no longer yours." Tomas lifted the rose. "I carved this for the woman I married. I would like to give it to her one last time." Mara hesitated. The threads in her chest pulled toward Luca, yet something older tugged the other way, the memory of a hearth once warm, a hand once gentle. She stepped forward. Luca hissed and yanked the shawl. The black threads tightened like a noose around her heart. Mara, gasped, stumbled. Tomas moved then swift. Sure. He did not strike Luca. He struck only the shawl. One clean cut with the carving knife severed the darkest thread. The shawl screamed a sound like wind tearing cloth and dissolved into 1,000 black moths. They rose, circled once, and flew into the gorge. Luca gave a thin cry and faded with them, becoming only shadow on stone. Mara fell to her knees, the threads inside her loosened, then snapped one by one. Pain flooded her chest, not from betrayal, but from the sudden return of feeling. Tomas knelt beside her. He placed a wooden rose in her open palm. I cannot make your heart love me again, he said, but I can keep the hearth lit until you decide where you wish to warm yourself. Mara looked at the rose. It was simple, imperfect, yet it had been made with care. She closed her fingers around it. They walked home together. Not hand in hand, not yet. But the hearth fire burned that night, and for many nights after. And in the valley they still tell the tale. Beware the weaver who offers shadows when what you truly hunger for is light. And remember, patient hand can cut even the tightest thread if it still believes in warmth.